Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, foot soles and beer. Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering. Bricks that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get slashed.
Well, hello, adventure. So many of you have been wondering, where have I been? Well, actually, I spent 27 days in the hospital, and it was like super janky. Oh, like, yeah, it was really bad. Really, really bad. Do you want to see my scar? It's really bad. Hey, I'm gonna show them my scar. I hope you're not eating. I have some queso. Although I couldn't find my chips. My chips were filed under chips, apparently. Yeah, let's see my scar, hold on. It's really bad. I'm trying to think of a good story for my scar, by the way. Right now I'm going with aggressive nurse shark attack. So, hold on here. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I lost like 35 pounds. I was on the ice chip diet. Have you ever tried the ice chip diet? It's where basically you're in the hospital for 27 days and you have to beg the nurse to give you ice chips. So, yeah, and you know what? What's really cool is how thoughtful of them. They went around my belly button. I have a little belly button phobia, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, shirt of the day, Batman. Have you seen Batman vs. Superman yet? I really don't, here's the thing. I really wasn't gonna, okay. I'm just gonna go right into Periscope therapy. I have to. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, Periscope therapy. Here's the deal. One of the cool things about living in the age of the geek is that everything that we used to get beat up for, like all of the, like people make fun of us for liking Star Wars and sci-fi movies and superhero movies and comic books. And what's awesome is pretty much like everything in the world that's cool is basically everything we used to get beat up for. So that's awesome. But one of the things that bugs me is like, I'll talk about Batman and then somebody be like, oh yeah, cause like Batman and Iron Man, and it's like, whoa. That's totally different universes. Like, I know that some of you are just starting to be fans of all of this, but just slow it down a little bit. I remember like May the 4th, because May the 4th be with you, and now it's like really cool. And when I wake up on May the 4th, it feels like my birthday because of how many notifications I get. I get more happy May the 4th be with you than my birthday, by the way. And I replied to one and said, oh, hey, thanks, Padawan. And they were like, what's a Padawan? I was like, you are not allowed to wish somebody May the 4th be with you if you don't know what a Padawan is. Just, you have to take it slow. So you need to understand, like, Batman, Superman, that is the DC universe of comic books. Totally different company. Marvel, that's where you get like Iron Man, Hulk, what now? Because I'm not really Team Superman. I mean, like, it's okay. The problem is when Superman, like, if you remember the whole thing, like, he is like faster than a bullet, can leap tall buildings in a single bound. Okay, it doesn't say that he can fly. It says that he can leap tall buildings. Superman isn't supposed to fly. Like, what ended up happening is just to sell comic books, all they did was just start giving him more and more superpowers until like he could like knock planets around like it was like he was playing pool. And then like, who's gonna beat him? So then they have to invite Kryptonite and all this other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's my Periscope therapy. I'm glad I got that out because, yeah, just, take it slow. I know you're just starting, like somebody the other day was like, oh, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I went to the opening and I was like, I bought tickets in 3 cities because I didn't know what city I was going to be in. So that's a fan. You just kind of like it. But anyway. Okay, well, I'm glad I got that out of the way. I'm gonna show you something cool here. Hey, where's the little munchkin? Let me show you a couple things really quick. By the way, hey, thanks Amy for sharing that. Hey, what's going on?
I am doing good.
You're doing good? Mm-hmm. What's the dog doing? Oh, hold on a second. I taught the dog a new trick. Isaac, come here. Come here, ready? Ready? Up, up, up. High five. Okay. I hope the dog doesn't get diarrhea from chips and queso. What are you guys doing? Why aren't you in your tower? Hey, Kim, I just was showing them your artwork. Oh, yeah. Kim's working on a adventure-inspired. Hope that has a good view. Let's get this thing started. See you later, Em.
Bye.
Take the adventure cart and go get ice cream or something. Okay, so here's the thing. The official hashtag for tonight. Need you to take screen grabs, screen captures, make your memes. If you want to continue the discussion, we're gonna do that on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And here's the official hashtag, okay? Derek, why aren't you over here right now? Okay, so if you want to continue the discussion, you're gonna go to InstaRhythm. Okay, now don't RYTH, like not rhythm. It is a combination of Instagram and algorithm. So that's the official hashtag if you want to have the discussion, if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves. Thanks, Amy Bell, for putting it in there, and Elena, InstaRhythm. Okay, the other thing is we're gonna have a bunch of bonus content. And so if you go to myfacebookevent.com, then you will be able to get that bonus content, okay? So myfacebookevent.com if you already are not part of that event, or instarhythm.com. Cool. Okay, so we're about our training on all the new changes. I'm going to give you some inside information on all of this, but here's what I need you to do. See where all those hearts are coming from? I don't know what our heart count is, so if somebody wants to kind of, I don't know where we started, but thanks for all the hearts. I love them. I eat them. Actually, I think I have to go this way because everything's reversed. So when you're periscoping, like the button's down here, but I have to point that way because it's reversed. So anyway, yeah, so what you want to do is you see where all those hearts are coming from, where it has that little Instagram person. You're going to want to go ahead and share this right now because we're going to jump right into the training. Oh, okay, thanks, Paul. 21 million? That's pretty good. We could probably get to 22 million tonight. We totally can get. You know why? Let me give you the secret. For those of you who are just joining, you've never joined one of my periscopes before, I'm at John Eric Thinks. And yeah, I have a lot of hearts, not because I use some heart hack or a lot of things that people do. It's my secret is toddlers. I'm kind of a big deal among toddlers. And so toddlers love me. And they're little, so moms will just set up their iPads and things and put my periscopes on, and just those little toddler fingers. It's great. Yep. That's yeah, that's my secret. Probably shouldn't have told everybody, but hey, thanks. It's good to be back. And let me also give a little shout out to Periscope. I'm sorry in advance for breaking Periscope. Yeah, it's already starting to act a little janky. Yeah, I'm a lot of adventure, uncle. Oh, thanks. Your 6-year-old says welcome back. Well, hey, 6-year-old. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. First thing I want to talk about is why Instagram. So before everybody, what's going to happen is there's some people, and you're starting your church, you're starting your bakery, you're starting your dream, you have your business that you're just starting, and you think you need to jump on Instagram right away. Now, it's very important. Instagram is it's a growing platform. There's 400 million people that are on it. A large percentage of those are international. And it's a younger, the majority of people are under 35 years old, okay? Oh, hey, Stella. I probably shouldn't have started shout outs to toddlers and 6-year-olds because now it's never going to end. That was a bad idea. Oh, yeah.
Competition's paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out.
Okay, so 400 million people are on Instagram, but 1.4 billion people are on Facebook. So I just want to give a little bit of context there. If you take everybody that's on Snapchat, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram right now, right? So everybody that's on Pinterest right now, everybody that's on Twitter right now, everybody that's on Instagram, and everybody that's on Snapchat. If you take all of those combined together, it doesn't even equal the number of people that are on Facebook right now, okay? So if you are going to launch your dream, if you're going to start your business, what you need to understand is you can't go through and say, oh, well, Facebook is dead. Now, Facebook is not growing as fast as something like Snapchat, Snapchat is going to be something that I'm going to start talking to you about in a couple of months, right? Because the ROI on it's not going to be as great for you unless you're starting like a fashion line for hipsters, right? There's 100 million people on it, and the vast majority are under 18. So it's growing really fast. Why? Because 100 million to 200 million is 100% growth, okay? But going from 1.4 billion to 1.5 billion is the same amount, right? It's adding 100 million, but you look at it and go, oh, well, it only grew 0.7%. Still, they both grew 100 million, right? So you just need to understand, what if you already are a fashion icon for hipsters? Well, Dan, you aren't, but if you aren't following on Instagram, my favorite Instagram account is a pepper a day. Dan, you can put that in there. It's like the most hipster. It's a dog, Pepper. I'm big among Insta dogs. Janky, yeah, it is. It is being janky, but we're just gonna push through it. And then when it completely breaks, we're gonna just log back in and go again. Okay, so you need to understand that. And another thing is I think there's a mindset sometimes where people think, you need to understand that there's enough opportunity in the world for you and all your competition and all your enemies to win. I don't think of people as competition. It keeps cutting out. So if it keeps cutting out, put that in the comments there, and I'll try to jump back in here. But if it's only happened for a couple of people, jump out and jump back in. Okay? So leave comments if that's happening. Losing connection. Okay, hold on, let me try one thing. We'll see if that improves it a little bit. If not, we'll restart here in just a second. But yeah, I knew it was gonna break. I'm sorry, Periscope. Okay, yeah, you jumped in and out and you're good. Usually that fixes it. That fixes it by doing that. Okay, so here's another thing to understand is either people have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset, right? You need to have an abundance mindset. So one of the things to understand is that there are 750,000 people that get a smartphone every day. 750,000 new smartphones are added onto this network called the internet, okay? And so when you look at it, more people on the planet, right? If we look at 7.1 billion people, more people have access to the internet than don't, right? It's about 3.6 now, I think, billion people, and about 2.8 billion are accessing it from their smartphone. So more people are accessing your website, your social media, all of that from your smartphone. A lot of times people will create a website and then port it to mobile. That's the wrong way to think of it. You create everything for a phone and then maybe make it good for a website. But look at some of the most popular things like Instagram or apps you download. When you go to their website, right? Their website has a link to download the app. So, oh, thanks. I'm glad you think I look amazing. So, give that number again. 750,000 people today, like on the planet, 750,000 people got a smartphone. So that's really incredible. So here's what I want to explain what an algorithm is. Okay. So I say algorithm And everybody just like, wow, that's like a really technical term. You need to understand is that your brain like processes algorithms more than anybody. Okay, so I use this example in the event, that Facebook event. If you go to myfacebookevent.com, you'll see some of the posts, and I'm going to also put the notes from today, because I'm going to give you, in a few minutes, I'm going to give you 5 practical things that are really, really going to help you with this new change that is happening at Instagram. Now, for some of you that go, well, I'm not really big into Instagram, these are the things that also are going to help you with Facebook, and Twitter made the same change. Twitter just allows you to go back, and Twitter will let you change it so you can see it chronological. And that's the big change that is happening at Instagram, is that you used to see all the pictures in chronological order. So if you had 10 friends that you were following, and one put something on at noon and another put it at 3 o'clock and another put it at 5 o'clock, you would see it in order. Well, now the problem is that as this platform gets bigger and bigger, right, and it starts, hey Wes, thanks for joining. Now what ends up happening is more and more people are being added, more and more people get added, and then you're following more people, and then it becomes noise, right? And then all of a sudden you start looking at pictures and all you're seeing is advertising, or you're just seeing stuff that you just don't like as much. So Instagram, which by the way is owned by Facebook, there were 6 people that worked on Instagram, and they got $1 billion for Instagram. And so they're taking some of the ideas around Facebook, and they made a change that now Instagram is not going to put every post in chronological order. Now, some of you are saying, well, I wanted to see every post. Well, you never saw every post anyway. If you followed more than about 100 people, you wouldn't see every post. You would see a section. Right? So if you think about this really long timeline, you might only have saw that much of the chronological order, or that much of the chronological order, or that much. Okay? Because people aren't going to scroll more than about 10 times. Okay? So what it's going to do is saying, hey, I'm going to go and take what the most popular posts are, the things that I think you're going to like, and I'm going to make sure that you see it. Right? And so you do this with your mind all the time. You say, oh, it's Tuesday. It's time to have tacos. Not that really you should be able to have tacos every day. But, it's Tuesday, so you think Taco Tuesday. You go and you look at the weather, and it says, oh, it's going to be cold out. So your brain has an algorithm. If it is cold, I bring a jacket. If somebody said they can't hear me, so I was going to give them instructions, because a lot of times if you have your phone muted, you can't hear me, but they can't hear me. And I don't know the sign language, and I don't know that they know sign language. And I could write it out, but I have the handwriting of a doctor, like worse than a doctor. So you say it's raining, I bring an umbrella. That's an algorithm. And that happens all the time. I don't recognize the number on my phone. I let it to go to voicemail. That's an algorithm. It just is your brain has certain preferences, things that I like, things that I notice. So an algorithm is a fancy way to basically have a series of calculations that is just trying to duplicate what your brain does naturally. And so what it is trying to do is it is trying to say, I want to figure out the post that John Eric, I love Siesta Key. I want to figure out the post that John Eric wants to see. So that is, oh, thanks for putting that instruction in there. But instead of doing that, they should have an option to make a group. There's other apps that you can use for that. They decided that they didn't want to do that. Twitter gave you the option, and Facebook allows you to do that by default. You're seeing the algorithm, but you can see all posts. But as soon as you turn that on and you see every transaction that happens in every post, you're like, this is horrible. And you turn it back right away. So anybody that says they want that option, after they experience it, doesn't really want that option. Okay, so this is the change that is happening, is that it's going to start to fill, it happened on Twitter. You can go and change the option. They allowed you to just because so many people were upset. But Instagram has kind of had a history of being snobs about it, and they kind of make a decision and then they stick with it. Partially because if you had you and 5 of your friends that created an app and somebody gave you $1 billion for it, you kind of think you're right all the time. So I don't think that they're going to change it. So, well, thanks. It's good to be back. Okay, so if all you do is you post advertisements all the time, and you are just puking up advertising, then this change sucks for you. Like, it's really, really bad for you. You're gonna hate this change. This is gonna hurt your business. If all you do is you put ads or you wanna go and just throw up stuff. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Sorry, it's gonna hurt. Now, if you're thoughtful, if you post about adventure, then you're actually gonna get an advantage. So some of you'll actually start to see your numbers increase. So what I'm gonna do right now is what this training isn't about, okay? This isn't about me teaching you how to build your Instagram account. I know some of you would love that. I actually did that, and I had to do it over 5 Periscopes over a 2.5 week period. I'll probably go and do that again, or I'll go and make some of that training available on YouTube if you guys would like. In fact, if you'd like that, just in the comments, just maybe put a rocket emoji. The change is slowly happening right now. I don't know if they've rolled it out to everybody, but it is happening right now. Okay, so you guys would like me to maybe put some of that on YouTube. So I've already done that, and I've already showed you how you build that. But what I'm gonna do in this Periscope right now is I'm gonna give you 5 practical things that you can do tonight that as this change starts to roll out, you will be at an advantage. Now, let me say, not only will you be at an advantage when the change rolls out, but you'll actually have an advantage now because people will like your stuff more and you'll have a more effective account. So let me explain one other thing on how this works, because they have been experimenting with this a little bit. And by the way, I'm doing a contest right now. So some of the people, I'm giving away an Instagram makeover. So all of you that shared this I'm gonna do 1 or 2 Instagram makeovers where personally I go through your account and I give you one-on-one personal advice. So if you'd like that, people have already shared that on Facebook and mentioned and did some of that on Instagram. That's already something that I'm categorizing, and we'll announce who the winners are there. But if you use that hashtag InstaRhythm, right? So let me give that to you again. Go ahead and use that, and I'm gonna pick maybe one of the best ones, one of the funniest moments, and we're gonna have a winner there. As well as what I'm gonna do is, for those of you who shared that, I'm going to look at everybody who shared this broadcast, and I'm gonna pick a winner there. Okay, but I wanna show you something on Instagram here, okay? So here's a post. I don't follow Bobby Hughes posts, okay? So let me show it to you here. So, and it had a lot of likes, but it told me this was based 2 days ago based on photos you liked, okay? So it was already doing this. Instagram was already doing this, but it only worked for popular posts. Now, so you can kind of get an idea. If you go to some of that, right, based on people you follow, that was 35 minutes ago. So here's something interesting. A post that was 2 days ago showed up before a post that was 35 minutes ago. And Instagram is telling me this was based on photos I liked. This was based on people that I follow, based on people that I follow, people that I follow. Okay, so okay, and it's going to look based upon photos that you liked. It's going to look on people that you follow, and it is going to calculate on that. So I'm going to again give you 5 things, okay? So here are the 5 things. The number 1 is you have to learn to tell a story. This is very, very important. You can't just go and post a picture. So I know Derek was on here earlier, and so we work on a project together called the Hope Center, and it's in Detroit. Now, if I was at the Hope Center, I could go and take a picture of myself in front of the Hope Center, and I could just go and say, you know, I'm at the Hope Center. You know, here I am, and I could just put a post there. Or what I could do is say, I'm excited about being at the Hope Center, right? So I ask myself the question, well, why am I here? Well, I'm here because I want to make a difference. Yeah, but how am I going to make a difference? Well, I'm going to make a difference on this trip because we're going to be doing a reading program and helping with learning how to read. Well, why is that important? Well, because many kids don't have access to school and the literacy rate is low. Okay, so instead of just saying, hey, look, selfie, I'm here, I can tell a story that says, hey, I'm excited this week. Did you know that here's the literacy rate? Did you know? And I can talk about the after school programs. I can tell a story. I just did this where I wanted to talk about my Periscope tonight. So you know what I could have done? I could have put a Periscope logo and I could have made a graphic and I could have been all about advertisement. And I could have advertised that I am doing a Periscope tonight. But instead, I wrote a little bit of a story, and I'll show it to you because I did it on Facebook. I just put, if you're going to chase your dream, you're going to have to stop talking about it, mount up, and go after it. If you've fallen off your dream, as the best of us have, the only way is to dust yourself off and get back on. I'm dusting myself off and mounting up on Periscope Jark Thanks at 7 p.m. tonight. Hope to see you there. P.S. I love to see Peyton ride and chase her dreams. This was the last thing on our dream board. Okay? So this is the idea of I could have put an advertisement, or number one, I have to learn how to tell a story. The question is, do I prefer Twitter or Instagram to reach out to fans? I like Twitter for conversations, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Hey, Jason. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, about what to use Instagram for. Okay? So, tell a story. Stories are, do we really have to turn on notifications? No, that is a big myth and that's misinformation. That has no impact. Now, the only impact that it has indirectly is that maybe more people will like your posts and because of that, it might show up more, but it really has no impact on that. That is misinformation that is going out there. Now, let me give you a big stat. So, the fancy word for this is content marketing. What I say is stop advertising and start talking about your adventure or tell a story. Now, the fancy word is content marketing, okay? That people don't want to be sold to, but they want value added to their life. They want to be inspired. They want to be encouraged, okay? Now, here's the latest stat that has come out, is that content marketing or telling a story actually for brands costs 68% less. So whether you're a church or whether you're a corporation, it costs 68% less to tell your story than to print up things sometimes and hire graphic designers and do all of that, right? It actually is in a way less professional, but it's more authentic. But here's the huge thing. It's not just that it's 68% less cost, but you get 3 times as many leads. So when you tell your story in the right way, it costs less money and you'll get 3 times as many leads. Now, I was with my buddy Rich, and Rich is, I was just watching Good Dinosaur again last night, and we were talking a little bit about storytelling. And he was telling me about a conversation he had with the art director because he had a friend who had a kid who wanted to learn how to draw. And he asked the art director, what's some advice you would give kind of a 12-year-old kid? And here's what the art director at Pixar said. He said, you have 10,000 bad drawings in you. The key is to get those drawings out as fast as possible till you get to the good ones. So let's say you're a pastor. You have 1,000 bad sermons that you're going to preach. Get them out. You're starting your business. You know what? For you to get your next promotion, you're probably like 200 no's away from it. So you know what you need to do? Get those no's out of the way. I've been encouraging Kim because she's been working on this art and she's deciding whether she wants to do an Etsy store. And she told me that she's bad at telling a story. And I said, well, you know what? It's not that you're bad at telling a story. It's just you're going to tell maybe 500 bad stories. So the more you just start telling stories, you'll get better at it. So for those of you, yeah, Humans of New York is great storytelling. And so I would start to study storytelling. And the best thing right? So when I talk about posting and how to build your Instagram account, I give you tips on emojis and words to use, but those are kind of just hacks and tips that kind of give you a couple of percent. Like a lot of what I do is called growth hacking, where I'm giving you a couple of percent changes that's going to really help you. But at the end of the day, you got to tell a great story. And so you have got to just start telling a story. If you're saying, I am bad at video, you know what? You just got to start doing videos and you'll get good at it. For me, somebody said I'm a good storyteller. Okay, let me tell you why I'm a good storyteller. I was probably 20 years old and I was at church, didn't really want to be there. And a friend of mine said, hey, could you help in children's church this week? And I was like, that sounds miserable, but like, okay, I mean, I'll help you out. So I went and actually had a pretty good time. There was like 70 kids there and they were like just wild and they had ADHD and I did, and we got along great. So he said, hey, can you come back next week and can you like help tell a story and do the story time? I was like, yeah, I'd love to try it. Well, I showed up and my friend didn't show up and nobody else showed up. And so for 7 years, I did children's church. Like it was me, 70 kids, and I had to keep their attention, like from kindergarten to 5th grade. And you learn how to tell stories because every week I had to tell a story to 70 kids and keep their attention, okay? And that was hell. It was hell at church. But you know what? It helped me tell a story and keep attention. So this is one of the things that you need to do is you need to start putting yourself in situations where you tell stories. Okay, number 2, ready for number 2? You need to take better pictures. Okay, so it's not enough to just go and take a picture and post it to Instagram. Okay, Instagram is not Facebook. This is an important thing to understand. You're gonna get 2 Periscope therapies. Okay, people, I know that Facebook bought Instagram, but what you put on Facebook, don't just go and put it on Instagram. Please, for the love of God. Like when you're going to the zoo, it's cool. At the end of your awesome day, make an album on Facebook and put 25 pictures on it so that the grandparents can see that. But on Instagram, please take the best of those 25 pictures, do some editing to it and tell a story. Because you have to think of Instagram as like the National Geographic of photography. Facebook is like those slideshows of your grandparents' vacation where they want to show you 25 pictures of everything. Okay? So you can post that in there. That's fine. But on Instagram, please, it's not for all your memes. It's not for like, that's a Facebook thing. Instagram is about awesome photography. So please don't post a picture every 5 minutes of what's going on at the zoo. If you must post more than one picture, it's called a collage. There's a couple of apps for it. And like you can have 3 or 4 pictures inside of a picture. And those actually, I like to look at those. But please, for the love of all things holy. Like I would rather go and work in children's church than having to watch 25 pictures posted 3 minutes apart on your Instagram account. You know, I'm just saying it because everybody else here wants to say it. And Periscope therapy. I feel better. Okay, so a couple of things. I'm going to give you a hint. Some of the people that are really, really awesome at Instagram, a lot of times they'll say, what's your secret? And they'll give you an app or a little bit. I'll tell you what really their secret is because I started to play around with it. I'll give you their secret. I'm going to show you right here. Cameras here. And so, hold on. So, here's Kim's camera. And it's a really great camera. And what's awesome about it, it's got a wireless connection. So, when I'm at Disney, she can take pictures with an awesome lens that deals with awesome lighting and I can connect it wirelessly to my phone, and I can download it to my camera roll. Then when I put it into an app, I hardly have to make any changes, and boom. So and that's not like cheating. Like, that's a really great thing. But a lot of people don't have $1,500, or you can get like a Canon Rebel for maybe like $600. But listen, if you're gonna eventually be serious about telling your story, you might wanna look at getting like even a low level, but make sure it has a wireless connection, okay? So that's what a lot of people do. And that's kind of one of the new secrets that I've been doing. So some of you who've gone like, oh, I really love your photography, it's because my wife's a photographer and she takes awesome pictures, and I just connect to her camera while I'm waiting on the teacups, which I won't go on. I mean, I will go on if I have to be adventure clause into it. I download it to my camera roll, I run a little app on it, but a lot of times people don't know is right in Instagram, they have filters and everything built right in. And so let me show this to you really quick, okay? So I'm not gonna have time to get into all of this right now, but I took a picture, I just took a quick picture of, there's one of the artwork that Kim's working on. And so here's the picture, okay? So if I go to next, a lot of times people just post that. Well, what you need to do is realize that you have filters kind of built in here. And the filters that I like to use a lot, by the way, you can move them around. Hey, Frank, you can click on it again. And you don't have to use all the filter, right? You just slightly. Yeah, so I like VSCO as well. Tommy and Dan are talking about that. I recommend, like, my official recommendation is Aviary. That's what I use, just because it is, it has so many features built into it, and it's a lot easier to use, and it works iOS and Android. So I'm right in Instagram right now. So then the other thing you go up to is go up to this here, and I'll show you like a few things that I do. I go through and I adjust the contrast a little bit. Okay. TipTapGo has better filters. Well, that's up to preference. Okay. So now you're talking about VSCO, TipTapGo, Aviary. You're getting into preference. So what I'm showing you is you don't need any of those apps. I'm showing you what you can do right back in here. Yeah, and so Krista was just talking about, like, if you play around with it, right, she can make amazing photography just in like a TipTapGo, and she doesn't have to use the camera. But I'm going to show you a couple things here. So I adjust the contrast. That's one thing that I do. I also go to saturation. So contrast, what contrast does is that creates more drama. I bring up the saturation a little bit. Then I usually add a vignette to it. And then I'll do like a little bit of a blur. And now here's the thing a lot of people don't know. I can hold this down, and that's before, after, before, after. Okay? So that takes just, what, 2 minutes? Yeah, so TipTapGo isn't going to be on Android. That's why I was trying to use Aviary, because when I do my training, I want it to work cross-platform. But look, so contrast, saturation, a little bit of vignette built right in Instagram. So not a horrible picture starting out, but I can create more drama with it and go right there. Get into a ton of how to use pictures, but a really, really important thing. Don't just take your picture and put it on Instagram. At least use the built-in Instagram features. If you're getting really, really serious, you might want to look at getting a camera. But as Krista was saying earlier, there's a lot of, and a lot of people do this. I mostly, probably 90% of everything you see, I take it just on my iPhone. And then I like to use Aviary, TipTapGo for iOS, VSCO there's lots of different ones. You know what? Find the one that works for you. Here's what I've learned over 20 years of experience working in animation and technology. I've seen really, really great software put out a lot of crap. Like, people spend 50 grand on software and they put out horrible stuff. Then I've seen people buy $500 software and hack some things together and create amazing works of art. Okay? So don't get so focused on the tool, focused in on learn to be an artist with that tool. Okay? So better pictures. Okay? The other thing, number 3, right? Some of these will go really, really fast here. Number 3, you need to post at the right times. So some people say post every hour. You'll get a lot of people unfollowing you if it's every hour. And the thing is, there's some hours that just don't work. I think the idea is, if you have a business, you have to understand is that if you don't post on Tuesday, pretty much your business was closed on Tuesday. That's the way I look at it. Is that if you're gonna be serious about Instagram, you should probably post every day. In fact, you should make that like the rest of your April challenge, is that I'm gonna post one picture every day. You might think to yourself, what would I post every day? Well, that's what creativity is. You gotta solve that problem. So, and like I posted a picture of Peyton riding the horse. Peyton actually rode that horse on Thursday. Like, I didn't do that this afternoon. I was resting from my surgery this afternoon. So I wasn't out taking pictures of her riding the horse, okay? So that's just something to understand, is that Instagram does not mean like in real time. You can take some pictures that you took a day or two ago, okay? So, anyway, somebody was saying business or personal. I'm talking about business. That's generally why I'm doing this training, is people that are chasing their dream, launching their startup, okay? So on Instagram, you need to post at the right time. So think about, though, when do you check Instagram? So when to post, think of who you're trying to market to, who you're trying to reach, who you're trying to influence, right? And so if it's somebody like yourself, think, when are you on Instagram? So you might check Instagram when you first wake up. So 80% of people under the age of 40 reach for their smartphones within 15 minutes of waking up. People that are in their 20s, typically late 20s to 35, they use it as their alarm clock. And we're finding from 14 and up, they actually have Instagram in the bed with them, right? It's the last thing that they look at before they go to bed. In fact, what happens is it falls on their face at some point, and Instagram is the last thing. So how would you like your church or your organization or your cupcake shop to be the last thing that somebody saw before they slipped into their dream subconscious state, right? So that is something that is really, really something to think about, is what are the times? So are a lot of people checking Instagram at 11 o'clock in the morning? No. And the people that are the same people that are watching TV at home, where lawyers for slip and fall cases are advertising. Because people that are generally productive and are rock stars are busy at 11 o'clock in the morning. So you posting at 11 o'clock because you can work from home is awesome, but you are now going after the market that slip and fall lawyers are going after, because they have time on their hands, right? That's when Judge Judy's on. So that's what you gotta start to think about, is you post in the morning, maybe something motivational, and then you might post towards the end of lunch because they're checking Instagram over lunch. Then you got to think about maybe while they're making dinner, or after they put their kids to bed, right? That's when Facebook really starts to heat up at 9 o'clock at night, up till 11. And Instagram is effective up till about 1 in the morning, okay? So there's about 6 windows. And if you're like just what I call like a super user, you're gonna wanna post 6 times a day. And those 6 times a day are gonna be like when somebody first wakes up, at the end of lunch, dinner time, 9 o'clock, 11-ish, 1 in the morning. Those would be maybe the times. But if you don't have 6 awesome photos and you're telling a story and you only have 3 awesome photos, then pick the best times, okay? What's a super user is, to me, it's somebody who posts more than once a day. So Dan, I can't even read Dan's stuff. So, okay, number 4, build your account. Okay, I can't show you now because I actually had to do 2 weeks of training on that, but here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you 2 common mistakes that people make. So I'm gonna tell you 2 things how not to build your account. One is, when you post on Instagram, don't automatically post to Facebook, okay? Don't do that. That's gonna be a big problem, because you will find that you will get about 1/3 less interaction on Facebook. Post to Instagram, and then when you've edited that photo, it saves it to the camera roll if you have that in the settings. You can even copy and paste your description. I write it a little bit different and then post it on Facebook. Because what happens is, yeah, you should use 2 to 3. You should use 2 to 3 hashtags is statistically what works. Anything more than that, it goes down. So the reason why you don't want to post is oh, hold on. Hey, ice cream truck! Ice cream truck! Hey kids, ice cream truck! Hold on, it's the ice cream truck. He has a coffee gelato. Ice cream truck! They're not even watching my Periscope. If the kids are watching my Periscope, come and get ice cream. Ice cream truck! Go get mom and get money. Sorry for this interruption. Hey, how's it going? Good. Yeah, we're gonna get some ice cream here. Good. How are you? I'm just gonna figure out what I want. Let's see what you guys want. Let's see. I'm gonna get, let's see. What do you guys think I should get? Put it in the comments.
Sour Patch popsicle.
What? I'm trying to see what, I'm trying to decide what I want.
SpongeBob.
Oh, Peyton's going SpongeBob? Hey, Scott Williams, thanks for joining. We're just getting
What do you want?
this was going to be about Instagram train, but ice cream truck came by. Can I get a strawberry crunch?
Okay.
I'm going strawberry crunch, everybody. I wish you guys were here. I would buy everybody ice cream. I would totally.
Oh, and then
Thanks. Hey, I hope. Hey, I hope you. I hope you guys have money for that. I gotta get back to Periscope, but I got ice cream. I have no idea if they have money or not. Okay, I was talking about building your account. One of the things that's a big mistake that people make is that when they post from Instagram automatically to Facebook, Facebook will treat that as going into an album. Neapolitan's good. And so you don't want to do that. So things that are posted natively to Facebook are going to do a lot better. Okay? So just realize they're two separate things. And here's the deal. The big thing for me is if you post something on Instagram and then it goes right to Facebook, why do I need to follow you on both things? I don't need to, because you're just putting the same thing. Realize, treat them different. Facebook is different than Instagram. So it's very rare that I'll post the same photo, and if I do, did you have to work off the ice cream? Or did you, oh, you had money? Good.
Okay, well,
What'd you get?
I got the cookie with the ice cream in it. It's my favorite. You know what I'm talking about? Those chocolate chips.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Hey,
I gotta hurry this thing along. This thing's gonna melt on me. And I still have my queso to eat. Okay, the other mistake that people make, I was looking at some people's profiles because I'm gonna be doing some Instagram makeovers by people that are using the hashtag, as well as people who have shared this and have interacted in our event. I was looking at some profiles, and profiles are janky. And so people look at that and they're not gonna wanna follow you. One of the big mistakes that people make is that in the website, they either want to put just a business site, but a lot of times people want to connect with you socially. So at least put your Facebook URL. So like mine is facebook.com/JohnEricThinks. You take that and put it in there because I've looked at it and I'm like, there's no way for somebody to get a hold of you. And some people go, oh, well, they can just leave me a message in Instagram. And the fact is, a lot of people don't use the inbox feature yet. So make sure right on the profile, if they wanted to get a hold of you, they can go right to your Facebook and they connect and message you there. Okay? So that's the other thing, is you're gonna have to learn how to build your account with all these changes. And that's gonna be some training later. A lot of people had said that they want to see that. Me put some of that training, because we did about 2 weeks of training. I think it was like 5 or 6 periscopes, and I went through a 5-step process of how to build your account. Okay, number 5, and this is probably the most important thing, and it's called reciprocity. And what reciprocity means is, so I love Jeeps. I had Vader, the Jeep, and one thing about Jeep life is that they wave to each other, right? So, like if you don't have a Jeep, you wouldn't understand, but you see another Jeep, you wave. And so this happens all the time. Is, let's say you move to a new neighborhood, and there's a neighbor who, as you drive by, he's watering his lawn and he waves to you. Well, what's going to happen is that when you go to that PTA meeting, you don't know anybody, and you see that neighbor, you're going to gravitate towards that neighbor because they are friendly. Number 4 was learning how to build your account. Now, this happens too. There was a recent study where somebody went and bought somebody like a drink at Starbucks and just said, oh, I know you like this drink, and they brought them that drink. And then the study was, later they would ask that person to do something for them that cost more money than that drink. And in the majority of the examples, that person would do that. So they were given an example of, I think what it was they asked people if they would put a sign in their yard. Okay? And most people won't put a sign in their yard because there's this big sign. But what they did is they asked people to put a small sign in their yard, and then later went back and said, hey, do you mind making it bigger? And 78% of the people said yes, they would make it bigger because they had an initial foot in the door. Okay, so what reciprocity means is that, I find this, is that if you go and you start liking and commenting and engaging on people's stuff, they tend to go click on your name and start to like and engage on your stuff. And that's what reciprocity means. Okay, so this is about being thoughtful. So one of the rules that I have is, before I'm allowed to go and check my notifications, before I post anything, I go and I make sure, I play a game with myself, and I give a point system, and I have to give at least 10 points. So every photo I like is a point, or every time I leave a comment is 5 points. So if I am going on Instagram 6 times a day, I'm gonna have to go and I'm gonna have to, like 60 photos, or I'm gonna have to go and leave comments. And a lot of times I'll do more than that. Now, what ends up happening is people get successful. So I know sometimes, like, leaders of teams or organizations, what they end up doing is they start becoming popular because they're authentic and they're growing, they're building, and then what happens is they stop engaging and they become just a broadcaster. That's so sad to me. I see this happening, and it's like, somebody like unfollowed me the other day, and I was like, I don't really care, because they never like or comment my stuff. They're just a broadcaster. So all they did is did me a favor, because I now have one less person that I'm wasting my likes and comments on, who never give likes and comments back, because all they are is broadcast, broadcast, broadcast. And this is what happens with success, is that as you get successful, you start to get busy, and busy kills relationships. So those are 5 things that are going to help you with this change. I'll go through them again, and then if you go to myfacebookevent.com, I'll go back and I will put these notes tonight and over the next couple of days, and I'll do a summary a little bit later. So number 1, learn to tell a story in your posts, okay? Number 2, get better pictures and learn how to edit your pictures. Number 3, post at the correct times when people are on Instagram. Number 4, build your account. That means you're gonna have to learn how to follow people. Your profile has to stop being janky. You're gonna go, after you post a bunch of pictures and something gets a little advertisement, you're gonna go back and delete that, right? I'll post some training on how to build your account, maybe in the coming weeks. And then number 5, reciprocity, or engage. Go and like and comments, right? We say a like is like a high five or a hug. A comment is a conversation. And so have real conversations, give high fives and lots of hugs, and give out a lot of love. And what happens is you get that back to you. So the more I try to give away, the more I end up getting back. And so those are 5 things that what will end up happening is it will hack kind of this new algorithm change. And so that algorithm change is happening now. It's rolling out for people that are just going to advertise and puke up advertising. It's going to really hurt you. People that want to be authentic and talk about their adventure, this is really, really going to help you. Okay? So I'm going to go eat ice cream with the family. Hope the day had a good you and that you enjoyed this return to Periscope. So let's continue the conversation tonight. Use InstaRhythm. Go to myfacebookevent.com. And so I'll see you later because your adventure begins right now.